San Antonio Spurs are playoff bound. We have the start of the play-in tourney that's going to be happening this week.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and the Spurs already have the time and date of their first game of the playoffs.
Yeah,
It's
we
gonna be
know.
Sunday night, late night,
Yeah,
late tip on a Sunday night.
yeah. I did an updated version of the intro song. Now this one's a little rock jingle,
I like it.
so we'll have to hear that one here soon. I'll probably have it by tomorrow. How was your weekend?
Oh, dude, it was great. I almost got arrested last night in Houston. Got to get into that, Joe. Okay,
Another
a
talk
little
now.
bit, a little bit of an embellish, but we have to get into the trip that was going from San Antonio back to Conroe. I got stuck in Schulenburg, Texas, where they had 7.5 inches of rain yesterday, and I was driving through it. And I'm calling Chica, asking her to just, hey man, just want to let you know I'm going through really bad weather right now. She told me to suck it up. She goes, "You're in a big truck. Just keep driving. Just keep driving."
Did you tell her I can't see?
I do. She doesn't believe me. There were 50 cars on the side of the road, on both sides of the road, just pulled over. The cops were underneath an underpass, or an overpass rather. They were underneath it, like just chilling out. And she's like, "You got a big truck. Just keep going. You have 4-wheel drive. Just keep going." It was bad yesterday along I-10 East.
Jeez, I had a good weekend. I was out there by Lake Buchanan. I was out there on Friday hanging out with one of my buddies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, stayed over there. I came back on Saturday morning.
5 seconds out. Let's do this show, Joe.
Area 210, where the dreams don't fade. From the river walk nights to the Alamo shade, we rise together through the highs and the lows. Area 210, oh, it's the life that we chose.
We're rising together on a playoff Monday. That's right. The San Antonio Spurs officially in the playoffs after wrapping up the regular season last night in a loss to the Denver Nuggets. It was a game in which the Spurs did not have their starters out there. Wemby was not out there. A lot of the big names are out there. When Mason Plumlee's in the starting lineup, you know the Spurs are giving that game away. So it was a game that was meaningless to the Spurs. And it's kind of funny, Joe, because a lot of Spurs fans were like, win that game, because if you win that game, you avoid the Denver Nuggets in the second round of the playoffs. The Spurs laid down and said, Nuggets, go ahead and take this game. I mean, they didn't try to win. It was just running through the motions. And the Spurs are now set to play the Denver Nuggets if they were to both collide in the second round, more than likely. So that being said, I was thinking about that, Joe. Was that a smart thing to do for the Spurs to do that? They could have gone out there, tried out there, 40 minutes from Castle and Wemby and Harper and all that, and tried to set the brackets the way that would be most beneficial for them. A Portland-Phoenix, more than likely first round matchup, along with maybe the Lakers in the second round, an injured Lakers team. Instead, the Spurs were like, no, we're good with Denver in the second round. We'll get into that. Spurs season 62-20 on the year. Remarkable season for the Spurs as they enter the playoffs for the first time in 6 years. We're going to get into all that. The Masters last night, Rory McIlroy repeated as Masters champion. Congratulations to Rory McIlroy. He is somebody who plays in San Antonio pretty frequently over the Texas Open. So glad to see one of the guys who plays at the Texas Open actually win and win again. So we'll get into that. Joe, how was your weekend, my man?
It was good. It was a relaxing weekend. I went out and hung out with one of my buddies on Friday. Called him to work. Went straight over to Austin. Hung out at his lake house over at Lake Buchanan. I came back on Saturday morning. And then I had a meeting with Tex-Mex Frank. We ate some breakfast and talked a little bit of shop. That was fun seeing Frank. It's always a good time. And then I was immediately after that, I went and did some shopping for my niece because it was her birthday. So shout out to one of my favorite nieces, Evelyn. She turned 13 over the weekend. Celebrated with her. So then on Sunday, I hung out with Sean and we watched Rory McIlroy for a bit there.
Yeah, it was
Michelle,
looking bleak
his
for a
wife,
while there. Yeah.
his wife Michelle has a little thing for Rory McIlroy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she was like rooting for Rory, and she went to the Spurs game last night too. So that was fun for her. We were just hanging out at Sean's for a bit, and then I came home and did some work for the show. So I had a productive weekend.
Apologize to everybody for being late. By the way, I lost my podcasting equipment. I was calling Joe around 10 o'clock going,
Yeah.
I don't know where it is. So I went to San Antonio for the weekend, visited my daughters. We went to the San Antonio Book Festival at the Enchilada building downtown. They cut off some streets to have a festival for celebrating books and food and stuff like that. It was a fantastic event over there. Spent some time with my daughters. Saw the Super Mario Brothers movie, which I thought was great. I thought it was great. People give it a bad reviews. Joe, I'm really big in the Super Mario Brother universe, man, because I play those games all the time on the Switch. So that was fun. Driving back from San Antonio to the Conroe area, got held up in Schulenburg. They had 7.5 inches of rain yesterday. That town, which is the halfway point between San Antonio and Houston. I got stuck in that. Chica did not care. She was like, dude, you got a big boy truck. You got 4-wheel drive. Just keep going. People were parked on the side of the road, Joe, all along I-10. They just weren't going to take it anymore. It was weird because I have my Apple Play, my CarPlay going off, and alarms are going off, and I'm hitting play so I can hear what the alarms are saying. The alarms are saying, get off the roads. Too dangerous to be on the roads. Get off the roads. And then that whole thing that my truck has where it keeps you in the lane, the lane navigation or the lane assistance or whatever it is, was glitching, and it was saying too much water on the road, not in use anymore. It was terrible, Joe. But I finally got back to Conroe late last night. Picked up Chica from the airport. What was funny about that, Joe? And we'll talk about Spurs, but this is funny, Joe. I took the wrong turn because it was raining so hard, and I ended up in employee parking at the airport. And because of the torrential rains and the flooding, they had closed off some of the exits, and I was lost inside the employee parking, Joe. At one point, I was 40 yards away from a moving United Airlines plane that was taxiing on the runway, and I was like, I don't know where the hell I'm at. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, my God, I'm going to get arrested, pulled over, whatever the case may be. And I thought to myself, man, if I was a terrorist, dude, I mean, it's right there, right? I could take out these planes. They were 40 yards away from me, and I'm like, I am not where I should be. I finally meandered my way through the whole airport area, and I made my way back onto I-45, and I was like, had it been a normal day, they would have flagged me down, but because it was raining so bad last night that there was no security, there was no police out there, it was ridiculous. But I managed to get out there, and Joe, did I care about last night's Spurs game? Not really.
No. I don't think
so much so that the Spurs didn't care about that game last night. So there's no use to even get into last night's game. When you have your starting five going out there and go, and at center, Mason Plumlee. Golf clap. Right? So
he got his first start as a Spur.
So I'm thinking about this a little bit, Joe. The Nuggets won the series against the Spurs, 3-1 this year, right? A game that they won that was kind of like a playoff atmosphere. The Spurs lost in overtime. They blew. And Jokic had a monster game. Earlier in the season, the Spurs lost to Denver without Wemby.
Yeah.
So they lost the series 3-1. No different than the Spurs beating OKC 4-1, right? And I'm thinking to myself, they're going into this game knowing that if they win, and because the Jazz are tanking, the Lakers are going to win last night, and everyone knew that they were because the Jazz are tanking for a top 3 spot, that the Spurs could have controlled their destiny of the bracket and be able to go into the bracket knowing, hey, we're going to get through Portland or Phoenix more than likely in the first round. We're going to go off and play maybe the Lakers in the second round, who might be without Luka Doncic, might be without Austin Reeves, or if they are there, are going to be so hurt that they're not 100%, and you have an aging LeBron James trying to carry that team. And at that point, the path to the Western Conference Finals is easier. And then you look over at OKC, who got the 1 seed, having to go through Denver more than likely in the second round. The Spurs looked at that and said, now we're good. And I wonder if that's arrogance or confidence when it comes to it, because I told you that I'm not worried about Denver beating the Spurs 3-1 because Wemby didn't play 2 of those games. And one of those games, Denver had to play an A+ game, and the Spurs barely lost in overtime playing a C+, B- game. But the Spurs are going into this playoffs, Joe, thinking to themselves, this proved to me, Joe, the confidence level is super high with the Spurs, where they're not trying to rig things in their favor. They're like, no, we'll go toe-to-toe with any team 4 out of 7. So it showed me a lot, Joe, because I wanted the Spurs to win that game last night.
Yeah.
But as I thought about it, as the Spurs were laying down that last night's game, I thought to myself, my goodness, this team is so confident that they don't care if it's Denver in the second round. What do you think, Joe?
That's the thing, man. You have a team like Denver, right? And they lost to Denver. Denver kind of had their number. But Mitch doesn't want to show all his cards, right? So why go ahead and play extended minutes for everybody, right? Your all your starters and whatnot. You don't really want to show all your cards, and neither does Denver's the same way, right? OKC does the same thing, right? When you go up against some of the better talent in the West, sometimes they rest some players. They don't really. It seems like they really don't care to win, and I
Hmm.
think that's kind of the same mantra that the Spurs had in last night's game. We're gonna have players out there, but do we really care about winning? Probably not. If we win, great, but it wasn't the it wasn't on their minds. They just wanted to get through the game. Should they be afraid of Denver? I think so. I think Denver is one
Yeah,
of those teams that should scare the San Antonio Spurs because you've seen that Joker likes to play against Wemby. He likes that challenge, and I think he likes going up against Wemby, and Wemby likes going up against the
they
Joker.
get up for each other.
Kind of gauge where they're at, kind of gauge. Wemby wants to gauge where he's at right now, early on in his career, and Joker knows that Wemby's coming for the crown. So they get up for each other. So that's fun to watch. But when you're looking at the experience level, though, that Denver has, because they won it all and they've been there before. You kind of think at the end of the day, could that be a deciding factor? But then you look at how good the Spurs team is, how young they are, and how athletic they are, and they have a good front starting five and good backcourt. I don't know, man. It's going to be an interesting series to say the least, Mike. If these two teams are on a trajectory to meet each other in the second round of the playoffs, that's going to be a hell of a series. I'd say that's probably going to be one of the most watched series this season in the NBA playoffs.
It would be because it's a battle of the Titans, literal Titans, 7-footers, right? Um, what I think is interesting about Denver is that this is the year that their window closes. Their
Yeah.
title hopes are done after this year because Joker is going to be a year older and he's already getting up there because the teams around them are getting better. Houston's getting better. Houston might have Giannis when it's all said and done by the beginning of next year. And even if they don't, bringing back Fred VanVleet's a big deal.
Yeah.
Minnesota's getting better. A healthy Anthony Edwards means a lot to that team. Other teams like Dallas with Cooper Flag getting better. The Spurs are getting better. You're looking at other teams like Oklahoma City, who's going to pick up another top first round draft pick this year in the mid teens, more than likely. So Denver scares me, not because I think that the Spurs can't beat them. Denver scares me because I think that they know, and I think Joker knows that this is the end of the run for them. That they're going to be a tier 2 team when it's all said and done. That this year they're a tier 1 team in the Western Conference, but I think they fall to tier 2 next year. Not because the team got any worse, but because every other team around them got better. Right? This is their opportunity to go out there and get that other ring, that second ring, to define Joker's career and make him cement him as an all-time great. Because right now you look at Nikola Jokic and you think to yourself, I mean, multiple MVPs. Was he what, 3 MVP awards? No one looks at him as a top 20 player of all time, but he may very well be that when it's all said and done, especially if he picks up multiple rings. And I like Nikola Jokic. That's a very, very solid team. Aaron Gordon. We look at Aaron Gordon as, that's the guy who dunks a lot, right? But Aaron Gordon defensively can hold his own very, very, very well. I'm not going to say he's elite, but he's a very, very, very good player defensively. And he can bring it offensively as well. But Nikola Jokic, born in 1995, so he's already 31 years old. Going to be 32 years old next year. He's on the opposite side of 30 in the NBA. You look at his career, he was a second-round draft pick, Joe, number 41 pick in the draft. I know
Yeah.
we talked about, Ginobili being one of the greatest second-round picks of all time, but, Jokic was 41, man. Who do we pass on that? NBA champion, finals MVP, 3-time MVP in 4 years, 8-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA first team, 2-time All-NBA second team, which is funny because last night, what did Joker do last night? Why did he play? He needed game number 65 to qualify for first team or second team All-NBA.
Yeah.
And because of the way the rules are, you have to play 63 of those games, 20 minutes or above. 2 of those games can be 15 to 20. He got to 17 minutes and said, "Peace out, fellas. I'm out. This is the rest. That's the end of my regular season." So they weren't caring if they won or lost. And I know a lot of Spurs fans on our chat, powered by PHN's La Cantera and Hard Rock Cafe San Antonio, are saying, "Hey, man, what about Fox? Fox is..." They were not playing to win the game, Joe. This was not Herm Edwards saying, you play to win the game. The Spurs play to not get hurt. They did not care about last night's game. You can tell that because Mason Plumlee was in the starting lineup, Joe.
Yeah. He got his first
They
start as a
showed their
Spur.
belly, as you like to say. Spurs showed their belly yesterday. They didn't care. Fox shot nothing but 3-pointers last night.
Look at Toro Loco. The song you hate. Joe, can you play that old school Spurs playoff song for the 90s? Are you ready for this? Or the Twilight Zone?
How's that
Two
one go again?
Unlimited. The
How's
Two
the-
Unlimited
how's the
song,
Twilight
Twilight
Zone
Zone.
go?
Let me play it, dude. I gotta play that one. That one's funny, dude. That's the one that you hate so much, Mike.
Is that the one that's fire?
Oh, that's that song that has that weird riff in the beginning. Like it's like an alarm going off.
These songs from the 90s, man, were bad, by the way. And while you're speaking of the 90s, I was at that book festival the other day.
Yeah.
There was a person selling mugs that say, I miss Prairie Apple County Fair.
God,
I thought that was funny, man. That was a great one.
All right.
I saw
here
a
we
chicken
go.
on a chicken on a stick shirt that I need to get next time.
Look at this, Mike. You remember this? You remember? You remember this song, dude?
I have
That's
visions
the
of
song.
Sean Elliott highlights. Oh no!
That's the song, dude. That's the song.
No. I have visions of Sean Elliott going for a dunk and a highlight. Willie Anderson shooting from a fadeaway.
That's the
Rod
song you
Strickland
hate.
with a behind the back pass.
Yeah, when they play that in the arena, you're like rolling your eyes. Oh my god.
So Dark Aeons comes out to us in our chat, powered by PF Chang's La Cantera, saying, Chat is acting like Joe and Mike are playing in the first round, LOL. Spurs need to take care of business in the first round. I mean, the odds of the Spurs losing in the first round to a Portland team or a Phoenix team is very, very low. I know Dylan Brooks has had some success against Wemby in the past, but Wemby's not afraid of him anymore. And Portland came to San Antonio and lost to a team that had no Wemby and no Castle. And in fact, their sports writers were talking about the fact that this team without Castle and without Wemby is better than Portland right now. So the first round is going to be a gentleman's sweep in 5, Spurs in 5.
Look at that, Mike. Charlie Hernandez says when they play that at the Frost Center, crowd goes nuts. Though. Everyone but Michael. Mike's rolling his eyes. Like,
Well,
oh god,
it got me all hyped in 95, Joe. I mean, 96, 97, Jimenez was all hyped up to it, but not in 2026, man. That's not like an instant classic. Like Jock Jams back in the day. Remember that CD that you would get from the infomercials?
No,
Jock
man.
Jams 1.
You remember what was the name of that collection they used to have when you'd wake up as a kid and you're in the 90s, dude, and it was, or a teen, right? And you're like 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, and they had this collection of like soft rock. You know, they were playing the videos and all that. You buy this collection.
The Midnight Romance collection.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I was just like, it was horrible, man.
Okay, so I'm looking up Jock Jams Volume 1. Was Let's Get Ready to Rumble, which was Michael Buffer's Get Ready for This by 2 Unlimited. Whoop, there it is. Strike It Up. The Tootsie Roll. Pump it up and go get come baby, baby, come. It Takes Two to Make a Thing Go Right. CNC Music Factory, Gonna Make You Sweat. Hip Hop Hooray. Pump
Mike
up the volume.
would buy Love
Pump up
Jams.
the volume. Snap the Power. Ooh, Ungawa. Unbelievable by EMF. You're unbelievable. Oh, with the Andrew Dice Clay part. Pump Up the Jam by Technotronic. The Twilight Zone by 2 Unlimited. Dude, 2 Unlimited was featured twice on Jock Jams Volume 1. Fantastic. Joe, I posted a tweet a couple of days ago that Yahoo Sports' Dan Devine, who is a legit voter for the MVP award and all the postseason awards in the NBA, he revealed his ballot. This was before Game 82. He said, I know that the season ends on Sunday, but it's Saturday night. Let me go ahead and just unveil my ballot. It's going to release it right now publicly. And he gave a lot of Spurs some love, Joe. And I don't know if you read my tweet, but basically, he has Wemby as the runner-up for MVP behind Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He has Wemby winning Defensive Player of the Year. So he has Wemby winning that award. He has Castle, second team All-NBA defense. He has Wemby All NBA First Team defense, and also he has Wemby All NBA First Team. He has Dylan Harper as All NBA First Team rookie, and then lastly, he has Keldon Johnson as Sixth Man of the Year. That's a lot of accolades for one season, Joe. So remember earlier, and then also keep in mind he has Mitch Johnson as third for Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
So Joe, remember we were talking about, hey man, if this and this and this happened, the Spurs could get 45 wins, but if all things came to fruition and everything was clicking the right way, the Spurs might get 50, but they got to 62. Now, in retrospect, Joe, if I had told you back in the last week of October as the season started that Wemby would be the runner-up for MVP, would you have believed it?
No, not
Would
early
you
on.
would you have believed Keldon Johnson was Sixth Man of the Year?
Keldon was playing really good to begin the season. You know,
But
he
to
would have
actually
been,
win it, to be
not
voting,
to win it, not to win it, but to be in that running. Yeah.
What about Fox being an all-star? What about Harper making All-NBA First-Team defense as a rookie, knowing that he was coming off the bench? It's not that he didn't have the talent. It's coming off the bench to get that praise. Mitch Johnson in his first full season being third in Coach of the Year voting. Castle making an All-NBA defensive team. Now, if you had told me that maybe 2 or 3 of these things could have happened, I would have been like, yeah, Spurs have a chance of making 50. But Joe, all 8 of these things happened. Weird. Shows you how out of nowhere the season is and how much love Mitch Johnson should be getting.
Does it
for
tell you
leading this team?
more importantly, what happens when you have a young coach?
Ah,
Inject some new energy into the team. You know,
inject into the veins, dude.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, if Coach Pop was still at the helm, this wouldn't have happened, Mike. It would have been rinse and repeat. You know what? Let's get cute and run Sohan out there again at point guard. You
Yeah.
know, let's go ahead and put him in the starting lineup still. Even though you have a stud in Harper, I like Sohan there. Young kid's got to earn his stripes. That wouldn't have happened under Coach Pop's reign, dude.
Oh, it wouldn't have, man. Harper would have been 10 minutes a game. He would have gotten the treatment that they gave Carter Bryant this year.
Carter Bryant, he would have left him over in the G League, dude. He wouldn't have sniffed the floor.
Carter Bryant, that's exactly it, Joe.
Yeah.
Carter Bryant would have been with the Austin Spurs the entire year, would have been brought up and played 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 games in the NBA. And that just shows you that it was time to move on from Pop. And it's sad the way that it happened because it moved on because he didn't want to move on. It moved on because life moved on from him when it came to his health and things like that. And I'm not going to make fun of that. There's nothing to make fun of at all.
No.
When it comes to Pop. But it's sad that that's the one thing that he couldn't go out on his own terms. We talk about Chris Paul not being able to go out on his own terms because he got basically dumped by the Clippers at the last halfway through the season. And he didn't get that farewell or that send-off that he should have gotten. Pop should have gotten that farewell. The fact of the matter is that he held on for so long, for too damn long. And, Pop would have been considered the GOAT had he walked out in 2014. Had they beaten, LeBron, Wade, and Bosh and beaten the Heat, the comeback, the beautiful game and all that stuff, he would have been by far the GOAT. He's on the Mount Rushmore. And if you want to call him the GOAT, that's fine. But he would have been definitively the GOAT had he exit stage left back in 2014. But what did he do? He led the team to 5 years in a row of not making the playoffs. And he was out there trotting Sohan out there. And he was just grabbing the microphone when people were booing at Kawhi Leonard and making a fool out of himself.
I think that was the moment that did it for me. Leave Kawhi alone, man.
Have you ever heard the phrase "jump the shark"?
Yeah.
You know where that comes from?
Yeah, it comes from Happy Days. Remember that with Fonzie? Fonzie? He was over there, and they had that summertime special or spectacular where he was going to jump over the pool that had the shark in the middle of it swimming around.
Yeah,
that was so stupid, dude.
With the
Happy
jet ski.
Days. Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing about that is that became a moment when everyone thought, man, this show has gotten stupid.
Yep.
And people turned on the show. And now anytime anybody has waited too long, lasted too long, what's that line in that Marvel movie? You stick around too long, you become the villain.
Become the villain, yeah.
It's been referred to for the last 50 years as that you just jumped the shark. That's a great term. But you have Mitch Johnson infusing of youth and enthusiasm. We saw it early on when the season started when he comes out and says, embrace the mundane. hustle, rebound, get back on defense, and all that stuff. And it's fun because the Spurs have a very, very deep roster that is scary to other teams. And I think that the belief that the Spurs need to make adjustments, I don't think is true, Joe. I don't think it's true. When you have a 7'4" unicorn in the middle of the court who's shooting 36%, 35% from three, who gets like 6 dunks a game, for crying out loud, you have to adjust to him. You have to impose your will on him. He has to impose his will on others, rather. You have to defend that. The Spurs don't have to adjust for crap. What do they have to adjust for? You got Fox, Wemby, Harper, Castle, Keldon, Vassell, all these horses running down the court. Other teams have to adjust to the Spurs. And I think that's why the Spurs have a little bit of confidence, a little bit of arrogance going into the playoffs, because they think to themselves, man, we're built to beat OKC. OKC is all excited because they have a second team. Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports, has as his second team All-NBA center being Chet Holmgren. So the Spurs look at OKC like, you're excited about Chet Holmgren? He's the Timu version of Wemby, right?
Yeah.
You excited about SGA? We got Castle, right? Who may not be a free throw merchant like he is, but there's not that big of a drop-off, and Castle's a better two-way player. Oh, you got Jalen Williams? Well, guess what? We have De'Aaron Fox. We have Dylan Harper. You have Caruso. Who gives a crap? You have Caruso. We've got, we've got Bryant. It's funny how the Spurs match up toe-to-toe with that Thunder team, and it's about matchups, right? Spurs don't match up well for the Knicks against the Knicks for some odd reason, but OKC matches up well against all the other teams except for the Spurs. So the Spurs are going to this playoffs thinking to themselves, yeah, we're going to get bad in the first round, and we're healthy, all that stuff. And what helps the Spurs, Joe? You want to talk about conspiracies?
What is it? Are we going to have to play the music? You're going to talk about conspiracies?
Yeah. The NBA doesn't care that the Spurs are a small market team anymore. Play that music one more time. I want to hear that one more time.
God.
My conspiracy is the NBA doesn't care about the Spurs being in San Antonio. What they care about is Wemby, because Wemby's international. You want proof of that, Joe? You see the first round matchups, Joe, the playoffs when it begins? Wemby, needs some rest. He has a bruised rib. Who is the last team to play in the playoffs this year?
Oh.
What team in the NBA has the most amount of rest?
No, probably the Spurs.
Spurs do. They have the Spurs playing the last first round game of the weekend, Sunday at 8 p.m. on the Peacock Network. So the NBA puts out their schedule and they go, Wemby needs some rest. He missed the final game of the season. He missed the 2 games before that. He got to 65. You know what? Let's make him full strength. Let's not let him play Saturday morning at 2 p.m. We'll have him be the primetime game on Sunday night. 8 p.m. tip-off. Even an extra hour of time, Joe. My conspiracy theory, Joe, is that the NBA wants the Spurs to win. My conspiracy theory is the NBA wants Wemby to be the face of the NBA, not Anthony Edwards.
You know what?
Paid off
Wemby
some
is?
woman $1.08 million because he didn't want to see that child that he had with her for 18 years. Like, here's 18 years worth of child support up front. Don't ever talk to me ever again. They don't want that guy to be the face of the league. They don't want fat Luka Doncic to be the face of the league. They want Wemby to be the face of the league because it's global.
I think that Wemby is kind of like the Beatles, right? From back in the day. You had this worldwide claim, right, to fame. Everybody would get up when the big Beatles would come in. You saw the videos and pictures from back in the day when they would go to different countries and everybody would get all excited. That's kind of like Wemby, dude. Wherever Wemby goes, people just want to gravitate towards Wemby, right?
They do.
They want to see Wemby. They want to taste. They want to see him. They want a glimpse of Wemby. And because of that, we have the ticket prices that we do now for the Spurs fans who are local here that want to go and see Wemby, in the Spurs and the NBA playoffs. Can you imagine, Mike, how much the ticket price is going to be when you leave San Antonio and you go to another arena? I
Mhm.
mean, that ticket price, whether they play in Phoenix or whether they play in Portland, I bet you those ticket prices are still going to be pretty high. And it's the Wemby effect. No matter where he goes, he's a big draw. So it's like the supply and demand. There's a demand for these tickets. Price just went up. And that's what's going to happen when you want to go see Wemby go play on the road in Phoenix or Portland. But more importantly, he's good for ratings.
He
And
is.
ratings bring in what? They bring in money, Mike. And at the
Mhm.
end of the day, the NBA is garnered by the almighty dollar. The more ratings they have, the more money they're making. And they're going to want the Spurs and Wemby to be in the playoffs for as long as they can, because that's going to be good for ratings. And if they manage to get past Denver, it's like, whoa, watch out now. Now this team is going to be like, they're really dangerous if they topple over the Nuggets. But the Spurs are designed to beat OKC, right? But to me, the real gauge, the real test for them is going to be, are they good enough to beat the Nuggets in a 7-game series?
Right.
And
And,
that's
and
good for
that's it.
ratings. That's the
It, it.
storyline.
It's a storyline. You have. I mean, it takes up so much content to think about this. To say, hey, look, you can fantasize about it, man. Jokic, Wemby, best of 7. This is no different than like LeBron versus Duncan. Back in the day when they were meeting in the playoffs. It's something about these legends, and you look back in time and think to yourself that you got to see that, because it would be great, because Jokic is still in his prime. He's on the tail end of his prime, and Wemby is in his 3rd year, haven't even reached his prime potential. But it's kind of like two boxers fighting each other, and one's 35 and one's 24. One's on the come up, one's on the way out. But you still want to see them in the ring. That's what you're going to get with a Wemby Jokic type of battle.
El
And
Wembeyazo. That's what everybody wants to see, El Wembeyazo.
But all the Spurs need to do is win home games. And you can tell a lot about about NBA when they say like who they play and they schedule things, who they want to win, who they want. And I know people on our chat, Alex being one of them, saying it's because we're playing West Coast teams. The dog wags the tail, not the other way around. The tail doesn't wag the dog, right? So you look at it, Joe. The Saturday game that's the earliest is the two teams they care the least about, right? Guess who they have?
Is it Miami?
No, they have the Raptors against the Cavaliers.
Oh, yeah. Nobody wants to see that, dude.
The Saturday afternoon game they don't care about. It's Minnesota against Denver.
Those are the games you put on, Mike, when you're barbecuing in the backyard with your friends, having some drinks.
It's just background noise.
Background,
You're not
dude.
actually watching it. It's background. I'll watch the last 2 minutes of the 4th quarter if it's closed, right? That's the equivalent of the Lions Bengals on Thanksgiving. It's like we're waiting for the Cowboy game,
Yeah, that's just the warm up.
But what do they have as a Saturday evening game, Joe?
The marquee matchups, man.
Marquee matchups Saturday evening. Rockets Lakers. That's a 7:30 matchup Central Time. That's what they want. So who do they not care about? Because remember the Spurs would be in the playoffs when the NBA didn't care about us.
Yeah,
And it was like Spurs are the 2 seed, but they're playing Saturday at noon against the Minnesota Timberwolves, right?
yeah.
The early game they don't care about is the Celtics against either the Sixers or the Magic. Isn't that a shame?
Yeah.
Guess who they don't care about because they have an afternoon tip-off? The Thunder.
No.
Okay, so look at that, Joe. The number 1 seed Oklahoma City Thunder has to play a 2:30 tip-off on ABC, a game that no one's going to watch. I mean, the diehards are going to watch, the casuals won't. But meantime, who gets the 8 o'clock slot?
Primetime slot is Spurs.
Primetime on NBC and Peacock. Spurs against either Portland or Phoenix. See, that's what I'm saying. You say everyone's saying that it's the Western Conference teams coming over. No, it's not that. They have the marquee matchup being the Lakers and the Spurs. Lakers against Rockets, Spurs against whoever they play in that 7-8 matchup. That 2-7 matchup rather. You have to understand. I mean, do I have to do the Windhorse thing again?
Oh God.
Do you understand that this is not a conspiracy? It kind of is a conspiracy.
Who's
all
gonna
at the
bring in
same
the
time.
ratings? That's what it is. Who's gonna bring in the ratings, man? It's gonna be Wemby. Everybody wants
Right.
to see El Wemby also, dude. That's
So
all.
I mean, the example that, and Alex is trying to battle me on this on the chat, powered by PHX like Cartera. It has nothing to do with the West Coast teams. It's who the marquee matchup is. It's who the marquee team is when it comes to it all. Because guess what, Joe? They have the Cowboys on, and they have the Steelers on, the Patriots on. What, Sunday Night Football? Irrespective of who they're playing, it's about those teams. It doesn't matter if they're playing the Giants from the East Coast or they're playing the Chargers from the West Coast. It's about who the marquee team is. That's what matters the most.
You know, that it's like that, right? There's certain teams that bring in the ratings, right? Lakers are one of them, right? Because they have a huge following of fans, right? Lakers bring in a lot of ratings. And when you look at NFL teams, right? Whether you love them or hate them, Cowboys bring in those ratings because everybody loves to either see them fail
Win or lose.
or win, and they're going to be watching.
Yeah, I mean, people ask me who my favorite team is. I say the Saints are my favorite team, and my second favorite team is whoever's playing Dallas.
But who's going to watch the Saints? Only the fans will watch
Only the
them. They're
fans
not,
do.
they're
That's
not
right.
a big draw, though.
You are explaining this correctly, Joe.
Yeah.
There are teams that people are fans of. Like, I'll give you an example, Joe. Texas Tech football. They go 12-2, 11-1, 11-3 every year, Joe. No one gives a crap about Texas Tech football unless you went to Texas Tech or you have a child that goes to Texas Tech.
Chris Leha cares about him.
He went to Texas Tech.
Texas Tech.
He was a student at Texas Tech. That makes perfect sense, right? So if you have a direct tie into it, like NC State
Yeah.
or Texas Tech, right? Then you have no casuals. You have nothing but just the fan base, the rabid fan base, right?
Yes.
But there are certain teams out there that have the T-shirt fan, UT, right? The Texas Longhorns are the king of T-shirt fans. You have people who wear T-shirts that say UT all. Did you go to UT? No. Did your kid go? No. I'm just a fan because I'm a Texas fan. Notre Dame, right? The Spurs are now the Texas Longhorns of the NBA in the sense that not only do they have their fan base because they have their diehards who are from the 210, the 956, the 361, the Valley, Corpus Christi, that area, the 512 in Austin, and to some extent the 936 out here in Conroe. A lot of Spurs fans out here, Joe. I go to a TJ Maxx over here in Conroe. I see 2 Rocket shirts and I see 30 Spurs shirts up for sale. Not 30 like 10 of 3. No, like 30 different shirts at this TJ Maxx down the street over here. Conroe is like a Houston is a Houston suburb, but it's a Spurs fan base. It's weird. But Joe, we are now the Texas Longhorns. Not only do we have our fan base, but the casuals love us too. We're the popular kids at the cafeteria line, Joe.
Popular kids. Oh, God. You know what was funny to me yesterday, Mike, when I was watching the last telecast, right, of the season for the San Antonio Spurs? They had your boy, Jacob Toby, right? And they also had Sean Elliott. And FanDuel was doing like this tribute video kind of to him, showing little clips from the entire season and all that, which they normally do anyway, right? But it just had a different feel about it, this last game. And then they were talking with the staff afterwards, and they're like, we have the best team. And stupid ass TJ Ford, man, he's horrible, Mike. He's so boring. He goes out there and they're asking him, like, hey, man, what did you think about this season? He's like, man, it was so good. I look forward to doing this next season. I'm like, you stupid son of a bitch. FanDuel's going by you. It's like he didn't get the memo. It's like this could possibly be the last time that you see this group of people together, right? Jacob Toby, Sean Elliott.
If they're going to bring somebody back, I want them to bring back Toby.
Yeah, but the thing is that the duo, right, that you're so accustomed to seeing for the last couple seasons here, they might be gone, dude. FanDuel is going bye-bye. What's their name next season? Gone.
Yeah, Sam Selena says, what's Jacob Toby's and Sean Elliott's name now?
Gone.
But they're going to have local representation for whoever airs these games. So the idea that whatever network is going to take over is going to say, oh, we're going to bring these 2 strangers to come in and do Spurs games. It's not accurate, man. They're going to have local flavor. They're going to have Nuggets people doing Nuggets games, Spurs people doing Spurs games. It might be Michelle Beal. It might be Jacob Toby. It might be Sean Elliott. But they're going to have to interview for their job again. is basically it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the movie Office Space. They're either going to fix the glitch or they're going to keep it going. But
Now look at Mario Cavazos. No, but I asked TJ Ford to this podcast, and he agreed to forget about it. Nah, bro, I'm good. If it's TJ Ford, I'd be like, nah, dog, we're good. We're good.
Yeah. Now, Toby did a good job, man. He did a really good job. They're talking about basketball knowledge in our chat. JHNSB says Sean has actual ball knowledge. That's not the point. You see, when it comes to a broadcast, you have a host and then you have an analyst. Toby's the host. He's not there to analyze basketball. He's there to host and call the plays and things like that. Sean's job is to analyze. And it's like that in the NBA, in football. Joe Buck is the host. Troy Aikman is the analyst, or Tony Romo's the analyst, or whomever, right? That's the way that it is. It's not ball knowledge. Because you know what? If you had two players, if you had Sean Elliott and TJ Ford doing that game, or you had Sean Elliott and Matt Bonner doing that game, it would be the worst broadcast of all time. Why? Because neither one of them's a host. We would say this on Sports Talk Radio back in the day. I would do a show with Rudy J or do a show with Jason Minix, and we'd ask the question, who's the driver, who's the passenger? And Minix would be like, I want to drive. Okay, cool. Rudy would be like, drive. Man, Rudy, which means switch the conversation going. That's what it is. And Rudy J would always be like, nah, man, whatever, babe. I don't care. I'll be passenger today. I don't want to leave. I don't want to drive. I like to react.
They wanted to be the passenger prince.
Is that what it's called? That's right.
Right. When you're not the actual host, you're just kind of the co-host doing other things. All right. You're the passenger prince. Somebody else is driving. Right.
Yeah.
Leading. Yeah.
Bill Land was a better host, says JHNSB. Says he created a catchphrase. Oh, mother, women, oh my God. I hated that. I hated that. Again, Pop needed to leave at some point. He never left. Oh my
God.
Bill Land left finally at the right time, man, because you needed to have an infusion. Can you imagine having a young coach of Mitch Johnson, a young coach of Victor Wembanyama, and an old man in Bill Land or what's it called? Schoenig and all that stuff. They're all great, man, but their time is gone.
What was that other nickname that they gave to? What's that guy's name? The Latavian Laser. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
That's another one that stuck with me. The Latavian Laser. I remember that. That was Bill Land when he was calling the games. He would come up with these funny nicknames for players. But I mean, that had already kind of passed its time already. He kind of showing your age at that point.
Oh, I know. The Spurs have had great radio and TV hosts over the year.
Bill Schoening, the great Bill Schoening.
Bill Schoening was great.
Yeah.
So when I mentioned his name, I'm not saying that I thought he was bad. He was great, but it was just time to move on. That's basically it. Who was that one that did it for the Spurs that had a beard in the 90s? What was his name? He had a really nice voice. Oh, my God. Somebody help me out with that one. He was a radio host for the Spurs the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. This was before Dan Weiss and all them.
He works for, I want to say Via now. I know who you're talking about. He comes out once in a while on WOAI, which is News 4 here local. He does that show with those guys. I forgot what they do. Their show at night on Sundays. Kind of like Instant Replay, but it's called something else. He comes out
Jay Howard,
yeah,
Mexican Junior, and Mario Cavazos and Paleta Man for the win. I was gonna be I short circuited right now, Joe. Kind of like when the first time I saw Chica in person, and I started buffering. I was buffering right now because I was like, man, I'm not gonna be able to move on.
She buffered. She said you buffered. It's funny when I talk with her about that, and she was like, "Yeah, man." She goes, "Michael was acting weird. I thought he was broken or something. He was like quiet for 20 minutes."
Wasn't 20, it felt like 20.
Oh my
Probably
God.
2 or 3 minutes of silence, radio silence when it came to it all.
She thought you were broken, bro. That shit was funny, man.
That's funny, man. But you know what? Winning for the kiss automatically. Like Sir Mix-a-Lot said, I got
3-pointer bang.
Oh my God. Jay Howard with a 3-pointer bang.
Oh my God. You know
It's
what?
called the 99 Memorial Day Miracle is legendary, is what Mexican Junior says. That
It's
is
funny
true.
all we're talking about that Memorial Day miracle because when I was looking for stuff to talk about, there was a little excerpt that came up that had Rasheed Wallace on it and Damon
Mhm.
Stoudemire. Remember, they were part of that Blazers team that was playing the Spurs at the time that Sean Elliott hit the Memorial Day miracle. And they were kind of talking about it, dude. I mean, you got to pardon the language when Rasheed's talking, but he was talking about it and he was saying, like, all right, this is what happened, in that particular play. I thought it was interesting to hear it from the perspective of the players that were actually there in the game for the opposite team. Did you want to hear that,
Yeah,
Mike?
let's
Or
hear it. Let's hear it.
all right, let me put it on screen here.
Good. In my mind, I thought we got there a year early. So I didn't have that in my timeline. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't. I thought it was gonna take another year. So I thought in 2000 actually was gonna be the year that we took off. But we got there a year early. And so in getting there a year earlier, the expectation changed, and then that's when they made the move and brought in Pip and brought in Det and brought in Smitty going into that next year. I thought that we were on our way though. Man, we was like the nucleus of our team was like 24, 25. You know what I mean? So that's all I was thinking about. Like, man, we got this window, and man, we got it's about to be on. I mean, to go to the conference finals, and like I said, it was me and she fourth year.
Yep.
Literally, it's our fourth year. Like you couldn't have
Mm-hmm.
told me that we wouldn't win a chip. And you couldn't have told me that we wouldn't make deep playoff runs.
Then when we made it to that conference championship against San Antonio, I'm like, all right. And we're battling with them going back and forth, back and forth. And then man, this motherfucker. It's this great fucking shot. Sean Elliott hits a great shot. I'm not even gonna lie, it was a great game. But he hit a great shot, and of course, that's what put them ahead. And I think from there, it was like, okay, I was thinking, okay, we only got about maybe no more than 2 years to actually get this done before they do what all teams do, start breaking the team up.
See, so that's an interesting
Mhm.
perspective. Even back then, Mike, where they knew that they had a time frame to work with, right? So Damon Stoudemire was saying, the nucleus of the team was 24, 25. You have this small window to work with, and you got to make it happen within the confines of that window. And like Rashid said, you have these other things that happen. They were a year ahead. They said they didn't expect to be there until 2000. They were there in 99, but unfortunately, they faced the San Antonio Spurs and the Memorial Day miracle that was Sean Elliott. But after that, they still kind of played the Spurs tough when they would meet up in the playoffs, but it was just never enough to get past them. Like they could never get past the Spurs. The Spurs were that speed bump, just kind of like Toronto and the Cavaliers. Remember when the Cavaliers and Toronto would go to the playoffs every single year? And it just seemed like Toronto could never get past the Cavs and LeBron James.
Yeah, Reggie
That's the
Miller,
same thing.
Reggie Miller,
Yeah.
the Indiana Pacers could never really get to the promised land. I
Yeah.
mean, I know they did one time, but they lost. It's just you run up against the Pistons, you run up against the Knicks, you run up against the Bulls, and you just can't get there. And that's why I say that a team like the Denver Nuggets is not designed to be a destiny, but they're designed to be contenders.
Yeah.
And they will be contending for quite some time, but to be a leading contender, their time is now. And that's the difficulty the Spurs have to face when they go up against Denver. But the Spurs, all they got to do is hold serve, and they're in the Western Conference Finals. Hold serve meaning win home games. That's all that they've got to do.
Yeah. I was going to go ahead and say another thing that I was kind of seeing, and it was something that was interesting to me. And this was most popular jerseys, Mike. Where do you think
Oh, wow.
Victor Wembanyama's jersey ranks as far as best-selling jersey this season, the 2025-2026 season? Because this is official by the NBA. Where do
Okay,
you think
I'm gonna give you my top five.
Okay,
right?
give me your top five without looking.
Because I don't know this. Okay, Steph Curry is a legend. LeBron with the Lakers. Wemby.
You need your 2 and 3.
What's that?
You need your 2 and 3. Who else you got?
My 2 and 3. Okay, so I don't think it's Luka. I'm gonna say it's not Jokic. Eastern Conference is probably Brunson, maybe, and I'm gonna say maybe Tatum. What you got?
All right.
Anthony Edwards up there. I'm gonna say Wemby second. By the way,
Okay. Well, here are the hard facts, the rock hard facts, courtesy of the Hard Rock Cafe.
I had 4 of the
Antonio.
5, and
So,
and I knew Cooper Flag was gonna be up there.
well, you knew Steph Curry was going to be up there, so I'll
Joe,
give
I
you
named
that.
5. I named 5 people, and they
You
were
got
1,
two.
3. I had 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I said
You
Brunson.
didn't say, you said not Luca, but you definitely said Steph, you definitely said Vic, and you did say LeBron, right? So you
and I
needed
said
your two and three.
I said to fill out my 5 were Brunson
Yeah.
and Edwards.
You needed your 2 and 3. So you didn't have
I
Luca
got
and you
3,
didn't have
Joe.
Brunson.
Joe,
No, but
the
I'm saying
chat tub. I got
no, I
4.
said
I
you
got
had
4 of
3,
the
but I'm
5.
saying you didn't have Luca and you didn't have Brunson, right? But you
I had
had
Brunson.
Steph, you had Vic, and you had LeBron.
Joe, I had Brunson. Joe, I said Brunson's name.
All right, I'll give whatever, Mike. I'll give it to you. But I'm just saying, like, this is the top 5, right? You
Yeah.
have Luca as number 2, which is surprising to me. That one's surprising.
Yeah, because that's got to be a West Coast thing only, man. Because I don't see people on the East Coast rocking Luka Doncic jerseys. He must sell a crap ton in LA, and it might be because it's his first full season or his second full season with the team with the team, and not everybody has it. The Wemby one is not surprising. He's international. Steph Curry is because Steph Curry is just he's one of the goats, top 10 player of all time. He's still very popular. He's still a very good player when healthy. The Cooper Flag at 9 is interesting, man.
Yeah.
And
And
that,
then we
that
got Jen joining us in the chat. What's up, Jen?
LaMelo Ball at 15.
LaMelo.
JHSB says, Mike, relax. Because I was just pointing out the fact that I got 4 of the 5 right. And the one that I got wrong was 6. Come on.
Ant-Man.
Yeah, Ant-Man. It's not, maybe I'm wrong, Joe, because I went to one of those stores. I was at Ingram Park Mall over the weekend. And, you go to those stores that they sell the jerseys, and Ingram has, I think, 2 of those stores. They're kind of close to each other. It's like, you guys are doing the exact same store. Why are y'all right next to each other? Like, one's upstairs, one's downstairs, but they're at the exact same spot, same hallway. When I was growing up and you were growing up, Joe, we all had jerseys. Like we would rock jerseys everywhere we went, right, Joe? I mean, there was like, I'm gonna rock my. I had a Kevin Johnson jersey. I had a David Robinson jersey. I had, you'd rock these jerseys. Charles Barkley, right? I had one of those as well. I don't see kids doing that as much anymore.
Yeah. I had a Michael Vick jersey one time. I remember seeing it one time.
A black one?
No, it was a red one. It was
wow!
It was red and it said 7 on it, and it had his number and it had Vic on the back. But I had to retire that after he was, acronym. He gained the acronym, the dog killer. So I'm like, no, man, I'm good.
That whole thing about Michael Vick is interesting because that really true. The whole dog fighting aspect of it all. What people don't realize is that that's actually a thing in certain areas of the country where that's what they do. It was weird to other people, but people need to understand. I'm not saying it's right, but people need to understand that that's just the way that life is over there. They do celebrate dog fighting and cockfighting and stuff like that in some areas, man.
Damn, Mike.
Daryl McMullen, if you want to watch some cockfighting, man. McMullen and 90, I know. I've been.
Oh, Mike. Man, you're giving people gold today, dude. You're giving them gold. Speaking of gold, man, we do got a special guest that we're going to announce here for you guys. So Mario Salazar, he reached out to us, man. He's a comedian here, local guy from Texas. He's over in the Valley, RGV. And he's going to be in town here coming up April 17th through the 19th. And he's going to be doing a show over the Laugh Out Loud Comedy Club. He's going to join us on the show on Friday. And I asked him, I said, hey, do you want to come on for a segment or 2 or what do you want to do? He said, no, I want to be on for the whole show. I'm like, all right, you got it, dog. So he'll be here joining us for the whole show. He is a NFL fan, Mike. He likes NFL football.
Nice.
We talk about the upcoming draft. And his team is the San Diego Chargers. He's a Chargers.
The LA
fan.
Chargers now. The LA Chargers now.
Well, LA Chargers now, but I'm just saying he is a he is a Charger fan, so it's gonna be interesting to talk with him, man, and just ask him about his show, and he's a funny guy. If you go and look at his stuff on Insta, it's a lot of fun watching him do what he does. And he's gonna have his show here, so he's gonna have some tickets that he's gonna give out, give away on the
And
show,
5 shows in 3
yeah,
nights. That's a lot of
to the
shows.
fans, so they can go out there. He invited us to go out and see him on Friday night. He's giving us some tickets, Mike. So I'm gonna go.
I might hit you up for that because I'll be in
Yeah.
the area for a. I'm going to my first ever quinceañera on Saturday. I've
Yeah.
never been to one. I wasn't popular enough to get one, to get an invite back in the day. But so, and I didn't grow up Catholic, so that has a lot to do with it as well.
Jeez.
But Joe, we'll have Mario on Friday. I'm looking forward to that, and I might take him up on that ticket offer, dude. I might take him up. Very nice.
Oh yeah, they were saying we need to show the clip of Mario Salazar and what he's doing. Like I'm telling you, Mike, the dude's funny, man. I'll
Yeah.
look for the video to show you all what I'm talking about. What were you gonna say, Mike?
Oh, Joe, I'm excited about the Mike Vrabel, Diana Rossini talk.
Oh God.
There is an update, Joe. She is now being. Remember how Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel, they were caught in those photos where they were kind of close and holding hands a little bit, and she was hugging her from behind, and they were in the pool and the hot tub and all that stuff in Arizona,
Yeah.
at an adults only romantic retreat. And she says, "I brought friends," and he's like, "I brought friends too. They just weren't in the photos, right?" Well, the update is, at first her employer was backing her up, and now the employer is like, "Okay, here's the thing, man. Girl, she said that she went on a hiking trip with her friends beforehand, right? She goes, I was on a hiking trip with my friends. We were here for a few days. And guess what her employer is now asking for, according to Outkick coverage of this, and
What,
also New York
proof?
Times. Show us those photos. Because you all would have taken selfies, you all would have taken photos, all that stuff. Produce this evidence to prove it, or you in trouble. Joe, she's gonna lose her job, Joe. She's gonna lose her job.
Oh, look at this is what I was gonna show you guys. This is what the video that Mario Cavazos was asking for me to show for Mario Salazar. So this is what he does. He does stuff like this on Insta. So if you want to go follow him, you can see right here his handle. Mario Superstar Salazar on Insta. He has quite a following, dude. So
Que tira chingos de pipe, he just got half of the stadium pregnant with that look. Mírale, fumando un pinche cigarro, tirando gang signs, looking like he just left a Nicaraguan prison, looking to pound all the puss. ¿Qué va a hacer el güey? ¿Qué va a hacer el vato? No digas que he's gonna ride a bull. Oh, güey, espérate, güey. Espérate, hold on to the bull, güey. Le vale verga, güey. He's just, this is con el pinche cigarro todavía en la pinche boca, güey. Le vale verga todos los... Get out of there, rodeo clowns. He's just like, give it all to me. Give it all to me, bull. Ahora ya se va a caer, güey. No, he's still holding on. Oh, no, oh, shit, I thought he was done for. This is the greatest athletic achievement I have seen in my life, bro. Oh, this is better than Kobe's 81-point game, than Usain Bolt's 100-meter dash, man. This is breaking all sorts of physics with su pinche madre.
oh my God, dude.
So Jennifer Noriega reaching out and saying, "Say quinceañera again." There you go.
Quinceañera.
I'm not gonna roll my R. I can roll my
Come
R.
on, Mike.
Can I roll my R's? Go ask Chica. Yes.
Mike. Damn, bro. You're saying all sorts of nonsense today, dude. You're talking about cockfighting. You can roll my R's. I'm like, you wild today.
Yeah, Sam Salinas say no freak away. The cap to end all cap that I've never been to a quinceañera. It wasn't popular enough, Joe. I mean, I don't know what to say.
Guess, dude.
We had a conversation piece between my kids the other day about the differences between a nerd, a geek, and a dork,
Yeah.
and which one are we. So I found that to be interesting. I found out I'm a dork. That's what I found out.
Who told you that?
Well, because we looked up the definitions, and Chica says out of all 3 definitions, I'm a dork.
Oh my God, dude.
So a geek is somebody who is like intense on like something of of that is not. It's like subculture stuff. Like they like
Yeah.
anime, they like Marvel, like way too much, right? That's geek. Nerd is more of a brainiac who is socially awkward, and a dork is someone who's socially awkward but is considered to be endearing. I'm a dork. I'm Lane Meyer from freaking what's that movie called? The $2, Better Off Dead. Lane Meyer was a
Yeah.
dork.
Oh God. Look at Jen says that's why he wasn't invited. LOL.
That's true.
Oh
That's
man.
true. Joe,
You know,
did you go a lot of those quinceañeras? Am I saying it now
yes.
correctly?
Yeah, I went to a lot of quinceañeras back in the day. I mean, have a big family, so
But
we're
that's
always doing
Catholic
something.
culture, though, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if you're not Catholic, because I didn't,
You gotta do your
you know,
communion and all that, man.
all my friends went to St. Dominic's or Prince of Peace or Holy Cross or all those churches. I grew up in a non-denominational church. I didn't go to these 15th birthday parties. We went to Sweet 16 dances and stuff like that.
You never been to a quince?
Never.
Oh man.
It'll be our first time on Saturday. Could be in Austin. So we'll be driving on through.
They say, Joe, stop the cap. Might keep practicing. What cap? It's Hispanic Catholic culture, Mike. Yeah.
I understand that. But like I said, the whole stop the cap, I'll phrase it again. And it's no dig on anybody else. I'm not Catholic. So
Mm.
therefore, I did not go to Catholic things.
Hey, but we do got to go ahead and
Chica
get.
just came downstairs 1 minute too late.
Oh God.
They asked, hey babe, they asked if I could roll my R's. I said, ask Chica. She just rolled her R's back at me.
Hey, we got to give some love though to one of our sponsors. So let's go ahead and give
You
some
choose the
love to
one.
PF Chang's. PF Chang's La Cantera, San Antonio's premier destination for dinner, date night, or happy hour. Enjoy one of their signature dishes, such as the Singapore street noodles, sesame chicken, or Chang's spicy chicken, or their infamous Chang's chicken lettuce wraps, which are delicious, by the way. You can enjoy all this while you're dining in an Asian-inspired atmosphere. And make sure to enjoy the new outdoor patio and try some of PF Chang's signature cocktails and drinks during happy hour, Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. PF Chang's La Cantera is a proud sponsor of the Area 210 podcast.
Fantastic. We could show those Chica approved cocktails
yeah.
they have over there, PF Chang's La Cantera. For a limited time, $8.99 cocktail collection. You have the two different types of martinis that are there. You have the mule, the margarita, and all that stuff. The Long Island iced tea.
The
Go check them out,
lychee.
man. $8.99. And not only that, Joe. Again, you can get your food to go, so you can pull up over there. They have parking up front for PF Chang's guests, or you could take the Joe. Well, tell me about the whole thing about valet at La Cantera.
Yeah, man. So if you don't want to
perks
park
of
with the
that.
peasants and you want to be out there by Nordstrom's or be going around the parking lot for like 10 to 20 minutes trying to find a parking spot, just pull right up to the front over there. You get off and you just give the guy your keys and they give you the little tag and there you go. They go park the car for you. Valet parking is the way to go. I don't park with the peasants when I go out there.
There you go.
I ain't about that life no more, Mike.
I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you. Chica told me yesterday she'll never fly Frontier ever again.
Or Spirit.
Dude, there's nothing wrong with Spirit, man.
No,
Spirit
bro.
and United are the same category, man. United sucks, dude. United Airlines is awful.
No,
Joe, Sam Selena says, that doesn't matter, Mike. How can you be from San Antonio and never been to a quinceañera?
never
Like I
been
said,
to a
even Jehovah's
quince.
Witnesses have been once or twice. Others are saying I've been to a bat mitzvah. Never been to that either. I don't know. I just didn't get the invite. Maybe I just wasn't popular enough. I don't know.
Spirit and Frontier are fine. No, bro. That ain't it, dude. You get nickel and dime though. I mean, you might save on the flight, but they're gonna nickel and dime you for every like piece of luggage you bring on.
Everyone does it. Southwest now does that.
Yeah, but man, I don't know, man. Spirit ain't for it. Ain't it, dude? Not for me.
We've flown Spirit to the Caribbean. We had no problem with them, and they do have a very cheap first class, which is kind of like funny?
It's just a wider seat. It's like a little recliner, right?
Yeah, it's a wider seat, but it's first class nonetheless.
And you get the
So
snacks, the free snack tray.
you look at it and you go, $70 more, but I can have unlimited drinks.
Oh
You
my
start doing
God.
math in your head. Okay, if I have 5 drinks on this flight, it is worth it, Joe. It is worth it.
Spirit is dangerous, is what JHNSB is saying.
Well, they don't make the planes like they used to, Joe. All those planes that Spirit and Frontier have are like 30-year-old planes. Those are planes that were flying in the 80s. Man, Reagan was president when those planes were coming off the Boeing lot.
They still smell like cigarettes.
They have the cigarette burn stains on them.
That was something, dude. Remember back in the days, like you like to say, Mike, in the 80s and whatnot, you get on the plane, dude, and people are just smoking, dude. They didn't care.
Yeah.
They didn't care.
That's funny.
They had
Mexican Junior says-
ashtrays.
Yeah, that's gross, dude. To be on a plane. And we used to do that back in the day. We used to go to bars that everyone was smoking in there.
Yep.
We'd walk out smelling like an ashtray. That's gross. Thinking about that now, 20 years later, that sounds so stupid. By the way, Mexican Junior says that I have to be prepared for lots of line dancing and the wobble wobble. Dude, I don't know how anybody knows how to line dance. Country or pop or any of these songs, right? The Cupid Shuffle, all that stuff. I
Yeah.
don't know how to do any of that. Like, how did people learn that? Chica says, like, YouTube videos. Do people do that? Do people watch and learn how to dance?
I guess.
It's weird.
Look at this. Redbird Junkie says Spirit uses unleaded gas and 2-stroke oil. You know, the good thing, it's going to be like that movie Airplane, Mike, you know, where they have the blow up pilot. You remember that? They put him on autopilot and there's just the blow up pilot.
And then what happened when it ran out of air? They got punctured.
Deflated. I remember what happened. That was freaking stupid, dude. That's why they can't make these movies anymore, dude. This is a stupid movie, dude.
So who would you rather the Spurs play, Portland or Phoenix? I'd rather the Spurs play Portland.
I don't know. To me, it doesn't really matter. Portland or Phoenix, I mean, either one, the Spurs should just be able to dispatch easily and move on to the second round. Maybe that team wins one at home, maybe. But the Spurs still take care of them, you know. Gentlemen sweep in 5. What do you say?
The winner of that game between the two, Portland and
Yeah.
Phoenix, plays the Spurs.
No, I know that, but I'm saying
they
to me-
get slotted at 7. So we have no chance of getting the 9 or 10 seed to jump on it. The 9 or 10 seed, the best that they can do is get up to 8.
Yeah, but I'm saying like the Spurs, to me, it doesn't matter who it is, Portland or Phoenix. You know, I know that they're going to play each other and they have the play-in tourney starting here. It's going to be on Amazon Prime. So again, here come the powers going to be asking, send me the link. What channel's the game on? I don't know. It's on FanDuel. Just tell them that. It's going to be on FanDuel, man.
Well, again, if you are one of the poors and don't have an Amazon Prime subscription, ask Joe for his user ID and password.
No. I'll give it
So
to you
that
for
game-
$50.
That game is going to take place tomorrow night in Phoenix. Portland coming in at 42-40. Phoenix had a better record by 3 games at 45-37. Phoenix is favored by 4.5 points. So Vegas has the odds being that the Spurs are taking on the Suns in the playoffs. And the Suns and Spurs have a history that goes back 20 years, man. We were talking about earlier about how there's certain teams that can't get over the hump. The Portland Trailblazers being one of them in the 90s. The Phoenix Suns won back-to-back MVP awards with Steve Nash, couldn't get over the Spurs. And that hip check that was done. Joe, if the Spurs play the Suns in the first round of the playoffs, that's going to be one of the highlights, right? To show
The Robert Horry hip check.
the history of the teams playing in the playoffs. Dude, that was so funny.
Or
And
the
Robert Horry
collision.
baited the Suns into that whole thing.
Or wasn't, remember the infamous collision between Nash and Manu Ginobili?
Yeah.
Where they collided and they hit heads and both of them came all busted up. Manu had tape on his nose. Nash was all jacked up, you know. That was horrible. I think Manu broke his nose, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Great question from Mario Cavazos on our chat powered by PF Jenkins La Cantera, asking the question. How many minutes, actually it's JHNSB, July 23-26 rather. How many minutes will Wemby play in a playoff game is a good question. I say that for the first round of the playoffs, all he's needed is for 30-32. Against Denver, 40.
You know how many minutes he needs to play? As many minutes as it takes for the Spurs to come out of that first round.
That's a better answer.
You know, that's how many minutes he's going to play, as many as it takes for them to win. And the
And if
same
it
thing's
takes
going to happen in the second.
and if it takes just 32 minutes, Joe,
So be it.
so be it. That's fine.
Yeah.
But against Denver, they get a need to play him as often as Jokic plays. And if Jokic is playing 40 minutes, Wemby's playing 40 minutes. They're not going to have Luke Cornett try to guard Jokic
No.
at all.
You know what? I was going to show you this, Mike, because I know you said Chica's a good, not a good, but a big fan back back when she used to play a softball, right? Women's softball.
Yeah.
Check this out, Mike. This is UT versus Oklahoma. Look what happened here, man.
Hitters count. Stewart! Deep drive! Back it goes! Off the facade of the building and left! And Texas walks
Holy
off
crap.
Oklahoma!
What is she, Otani?
Stewart! Deep drive!
You heard
The
the
reaction that she
bat?
had there was amazing. I'll
Bam!
show that to Chica later on.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chica told me the other day we were out and about and we were watching highlights of a baseball game and someone went yard and she goes, "Oh, that feeling." And I was like, "Man, I don't know that part of Chica. I don't know that life of hers when she was an athlete." But no, that was great. Joe, what did you think about the reaction that player had on that home run?
I thought that was great.
I thought she was going to spike the bat. I mean, what was she doing?
They're saying the chat, was that a Latina? Oh my God. I don't know what her name was. Katie Stewart. That's what her name is.
Very cool. Let's go
I
show
thought
some
that
love
was
to
a
Hard
cool
Rock
play.
Cafe San Antonio.
Yeah, let's go ahead and give them some love. The Hard Rock Cafe, San Antonio, is Riverwalk dining at its best. With great scenic views, along with its amazing collection of rock memorabilia, there is something for everyone. Enjoy happy hour weekdays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. with $8 and $10 appetizers, $5 domestic drafts, and $6 craft import drafts at the bar only. Try some of the Hard Rock Cafe's legendary steak burgers, or my personal favorite, such as the grilled salmon or baby back ribs. Make sure to visit the third level and enjoy the DJ as you take in the city skyline. The Hard Rock Cafe is a proud sponsor of the Area 210 podcast.
Joe, tell us about the next event.
Yeah, so the next event we're having is going to be at the Hard Rock Cafe. There's going to be the NFL Draft Party, which is going to be happening on Thursday, April 23rd. And we're going to just hang out with the gente, man. We're going to be hanging out with you guys and seeing what our teams are going to go ahead and do in the first round of the NFL Draft. Specifically, Mike is going to pay attention to his New Orleans Saints and, of
At
course,
number
the
8.
Dallas Cowboys.
At number 8, man, the Cowboys drafted number 12 and 20. It's interesting because you see a lot of these players that are going up and down draft boards. Do you buy any of that, Joe? Do you think that the Adam Schefters of the world, the draft prognosticators, do you think that they know anything they're talking about when it comes to the NFL draft? Because this is the craziest draft that there is. Because basketball kind of goes to form.
No.
You know who's going to go 1, 2, or 3, 4. There might be a year where Stephon Castle goes 4, but there's not a lot of movement up and down the draft. In the NFL, there's probably 3 or 4 or 5 trades every first round. It doesn't stand, and then there's always somebody who falls. Remember Aaron Rodgers, Joe? Aaron Rodgers was supposed to be a top 5 pick. He dropped to number 24. Brady Quinn was supposed to be a top pick back in the day. He dropped. Manti Te'o was supposed to be a first-round draft pick. He dropped to the second round.
Colt McCoy, remember him?
Colt McCoy, yeah. I mean, you never know what's going to happen, but the latest mock draft coming out is CBS Sports, Joe. They released this an hour ago. Mike Renner. His mock draft has number 1 being Fernando Mendoza, quarterback of Indiana, going to the Las Vegas Raiders. Joe, he has David Bailey of Texas Tech moving his way up to number 2. I've seen several mock drafts saying that the love for the linebacker over there, the defensive end over at Texas Tech, is really big. He's an edge rusher. David Bailey, number 2, though, Joe. 6'4", 250. Is that too high? He's great.
I think it is.
If the Saints took him at 8, I'd be happy. But, man, a lot of mock drafts are saying that David Bailey's going 2. Arvell Reese, number 3 overall, going from Arizona to the Arizona Cardinals. Jeremiah Love, Notre Dame, running back, going to Tennessee.
You say his name right every time you say it.
Fine. Jeremiah Love. Number 5, they have Bama's offensive tackle Caden Proctor going to the Cleveland Browns. Makes sense. They have linebacker Sonny Styles going to the Washington Commanders. And at number 8, Carnell Tate, wide receiver of Ohio State, going to the Saints. Okay, here's the thing. If my Saints take a wide receiver, I'm going to be pissed. They just lost Demario Davis and Cam Jordan. They need somebody on the defense. Go get a wide receiver. They always get wide receivers.
Who's going to be y'all's QB? Rattler? That ain't it, dog.
Nah, it's that Hof guy, whatever. He sucks. They're going to give him one more year. I mean, who are they going to get? There's not a quarterback to be taken in the first round.
Make a trade or something, dude.
For who? There's no quarterback to take.
Y'all need some type of quarterback. What was old boy's name for the Jets years ago? The one was dating the older women.
That QB. Yeah. I always forgot his name. Yeah. No, the Saints don't have any options for quarterback. There's nobody in free agency that they can get. There's nobody that they could draft in the first round that has first round talent. They're not going to get that guy from Alabama at number 8. Why would they use a number 8 pick in the draft for him? Now, if they drop down in the draft, get him at 28, so you can get him for 5 years. Maybe. Pick up another first round draft pick for the future. Pick up a second or a third to slide down. Then I'd be okay with that. They have the Chiefs taking Ruben Bain of Miami. If Ruben Bain goes to the Chiefs, just put him back in the Super Bowl. Ruben Bain's a great edge, even though he is small.
Yeah.
Now, who the Cowboys should get, Joe, and if they were to move up for, CBS Sports has going 2 spots ahead of him. Caleb Downs, the safety from Ohio State.
Okay.
Dallas needs to move the heavens and the earth to get Caleb Downs.
I wouldn't be mad at that, dude. They need some help.
Back in the day, the Cowboys wanted a cornerback or a safety, and they had Patrick Surtain or J.C. Horn as the ones that they wanted to get. There was 2 picks to go. Trades were made to move up to get those guys. Cowboys ended up picking number 12. They got Micah Parsons instead. They probably would have been better off with Patrick Surtain, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Parsons is damaged goods, bro. He's already all busted up, man.
Yeah. They have the Cowboys taking Jermad McCoy, the cornerback from Tennessee, at number 12. They have the Cowboys taking at number 20. Oh, Spencer Fano, offensive tackle, dropping from Utah. Spencer Fano considered to be a top 10 talent. Would you be okay with them taking a top 10 talent if he fell to 20, Joe?
I'd be fine with that. Hey, we do got an incoming super chat though from the Drew Show.
Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Thank you, Drew. Drew Show is the official bank of the Area 210 podcast.
There you go.
He says, I'd like to say I called my shot in the summer and said that if you could get a future on the Spurs to win 60+ games, take it. He goes, take the money, Rich. He goes, the rich get richer, poors and peasants.
Which, by the way, one of the first posts that we had was from, let me see here, Fake Killer, saying that he made $300 on the Spurs winning 60+. So he must have put a 40 to 50 to 1 odd bet earlier in the season.
That's good for him, man. Get that money. Get that money. You know, I want to go ahead and show this because I thought this was funny as we start bringing the show to a close here. This is from NBA, official NBA on the X. And this was a 76ers fan. So this brother here hit the half-court shot, Mike.
Yeah. So
he came away with 10 G's, man, 10 grand for hitting that half-court shot. And look at the reaction from him and the other guy. You know, they have the handler always there, right? The guy that's giving him the ball, kind of with the mic and everything, get his reaction. This is what happened.
Oh, come on. Let's go! Come here. No, come here. Come here. Congratulations. You just won $10,000 of cryptocurrency. Singly, what's going on with you?
Wow.
He's going over there trying to go and hang out with the players, and they're like, no.
He did get bodied up by one of them, which is nice.
Yeah.
I'm more impressed by the fact that he did with a backwards cap on.
Oh yeah, that's
a great logo, Joe. I love the Spurs uniform.
Boom.
Philadelphia is one of the best ones.
Yeah, that was a hell of a shot, man. 10 G's, but of course it's all in cryptocurrency, so
might be worth 5 today or 15. We don't know.
You never know, man. You better go ahead and flip that quick.
Exactly. Hey, if you have money to invest, give me a call. 210-508-0369. 210-508-0369. That's what you call a quality transition, Joe. A segue, if you will. If you have any questions about retirement accounts, life insurance, long-term care, disability, give me a call. 210-508-0369. You have until April 15 to make a IRA payment, or an IRA contribution, rather, a deposit for calendar year 2025. April 15th is that deadline. And don't forget, if you're doing your taxes and need an extension, April 15th is your deadline to file for an extension. So either do that yourself or call your CPA or tax preparer to make that happen. But man, I was in Corpus Christi with one of my clients the other day. It was great meeting with them. It's nice having good people that you work with. Give us a call, 210-508-0369. Joe,
Santelina says that was a sneaky segue.
it
I
was
said,
a sneaky segue.
that's why I went and showed it to him, because he won 10 G's. And I was like, Mike, I'm trying to set you up so you could do your segue. I'm glad you caught it.
Very, very cool. Yeah, that was an alley-oop, Joe. I understood.
Alley-oop.
I didn't just dunk it in there. I reversed, put it in.
You see, I have to be smooth with it because, they were talking about the guy winning 10 G's. And that's like, I know Mike's going to catch the cue and he's going to transition. That's a good alley-oop, Mike.
Thank you so much for that, Joe. Well, Joe, I'm looking over to my left over here, and Chica is making conchas with ground beef.
Nice.
Lunch is upon us, so it's time to go. Again, thank you so much to Drew for the super chat. Thank you so much to Hard Rock Cafe San Antonio and to PF Chang's La Cantera for sponsoring our show. Again, the Spurs don't take the court again until Sunday night, 8 p.m. tip-off against either Portland or Phoenix. We're going to be watching that game tomorrow because we're going to see who the Spurs are going to play. The winner plays the Spurs, right? Spurs have a week to rest up. Found it interesting that the Spurs kind of just showed their belly yesterday and didn't care who was going to be in the 3 spot. They didn't care. That shows confidence. That shows arrogance. And it's been a long time since the Spurs have had confidence and arrogance. But the playoffs are upon us. Game 1 of the first round of the playoffs, Sunday night at the Frostbank Center. Joe, it was a fun show.
It was.
Let's do it again tomorrow.
All right. We'll see you boys tomorrow. You all take care. We're out of here. Peace.
See ya.